Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Sound of Metal. New movie out on Amazon Prime starring Riz Ahmed. Probably one of the best performances I've seen. If he wins Best Actor, I would be very happy. I think it would be a very well-deserved award, as well as an award for sound design. This is a movie, it was recommended through many movie podcasts that the sound is a very important aspect of this film, and was recommended to, if not a premium sound system, wear headphones. So I wore headphones while watching this to make sure I got the full experience of the sound design, which I think is probably the second lead in this movie. You got Riz Ahmed and the sound designer working hand on hand to tell this story of a drummer who starts to lose his hearing and has to grapple with a very important time in his life where it changes, a big change happening in his life, and his unwillingness to accept the change, the accept the what's going on, and instead trying to fix the problem, trying to go back to a time where he had hearing, instead of learning to cope with this new way of existing. So sound design is very well done in this movie. There's the opening of this movie, aside from the concert that they're playing, the show that they're playing, there's a scene of him waking up. It's him and his girlfriend, very much like a White Stripes type of situation, where it's a guy and a girl in a band, two-person band, heavy metal band. He's the drummer, she's the vocalist and guitar. But one morning, waking up after a show in their RV that they're on tour, they're on tour in this RV, waking up, and just kind of the sounds of the morning, like the clicks and the drip of the coffee maker, and the subtle sounds that somebody might hear waking up in the morning. And there's a contrasting scene where those sounds no longer exist. This movie really puts the viewer, the audience, shows them different perspectives. You get to be put in the perspective of what it sounds like to have 24 to 28% of your hearing. You get to hear what is actually going on. You get to hear the full range of sound, and then you also get to hear nothingness, and you also get to hear a version of sound when he ultimately achieves his goal of trying to fix this problem, or what he feels is a fix for the problem. In that the goal is for him to get these ocular implants, so he can hear again, so he can go back on tour, and that's like his main drive. But when he loses his hearing, he's an addict. So he's like, first off, Riz Ahmed, amazing performance. He embodies this drummer. He embodies this guy that's had a hard life, doesn't have the kind of support structure that a normal person might have. He's very much on his own with his girlfriend, recovering addict. But he has all of the mannerisms, the attitude, the just amazing performance by Riz Ahmed playing this guy. So it's him losing his hearing and wanting to fix it, and he ends up going to a camp kind of a thing where it's other people who are deaf, who are addicts, who get together. It's like like a community of people where he goes and he learns how to speak in sign language. He starts taking the steps to understand how to live life with this new way of being, with the lack of sound, and he learns the tools. So the movie, it's horrifying. There's like so many ranges of emotion in this movie. Is the horrifying notion that your identity of being this musician, of being a drummer, is taken away from you, right? And you're seeing it through his eyes, and you're seeing the terror that he's facing. And you can understand why, with that terror, you want to do everything to try and fix this thing. But the reality of the situation is that it's not something that can be fixed. But he's unwilling to see that reality. He's unwilling to see the reality. He's unwilling to let go of his past life, and it's his drive to, quote unquote, fix this problem, which he learns through these people that he's in this community, that people who are deaf don't feel it's a problem that needs to be fixed. So they're against getting these ocular implants. They're just all about living their best life without the use of sound, with just one less thing in their life, but it's they still are living fulfilled, happy lives without this sense. Um, but he's like so ingrained in the notion that it needs to be fixed that he ends up. There's this scene where he's sitting down with the leader of this community, and great character. I think his name is Joe, and it comes to a head because he gets the ocular implants. Like he schemes. He ends up selling off all of his musical equipment in the RV to be able to afford these implants. And there's this thing where he's like, "You're like an addict, man. You're like trying to bargain your way out of dealing with a thing instead of accepting the new reality that you're living in," which is just heartbreaking as well. It's just, I mean, this movie has all kinds of different emotions: terror, the joy that he gets when he starts to learn. Like, there's a scene where he's racing another kid on doing the alphabet with sign language, which is like, there's this joy that you get, like, that he's getting it, that he's understanding, and that he's able to communicate. He's going in two directions at the same time, right? He's understanding how his new reality is going to be, but also still stuck trying to reclaim the past to get this thing. He's still like under the idea that it's something that needs to be fixed. And it's just, I don't know, it's an amazing. There's a scene also that's just beautiful scene where he goes back to the RV that he was in tour with, and he sets up his drums inside the RV as almost a goodbye. It's like him saying goodbye in a way to all this stuff, which he's like selling all this stuff to be able to get these implants so that he can go back on tour somehow. But it's the scene where he's setting up the drums, and he's just playing. It's from his perspective audibly, so you can only hear like these muffled beats of the drum, and then this far shot, far away from the RV, looking at the RV during like sunset, and you get to hear just the him going on this drum solo inside the RV, which he can barely hear, but if you're standing outside, it's just like this beautiful scene. But yeah, it's just a great movie. Probably one of my best movies of the year. I mean, you got his performance, Riz Ahmed's performance. You got this amazing storytelling with Darius Marder, this simple story, and then just this amazing sound design that really adds. I mean, it's a character in itself, because you're seeing the perspective of all these things, and then he finally gets these implants, right? He sells everything he has to get these implants, and it's like it's this sinking feeling when you realize that the thing that you were pursuing, the thing that you gave up everything because you felt in your heart, it felt like that was the answer to your problem, that was the thing that's going to fix everything and make everything go back to normal. It's a sinking feeling where you realize that you were wrong, that everybody else was right, and that you instead of purging everything to try and accomplish this goal, to get these things, to try and live in the past, that you had already started putting a pathway towards your future. It's like heartbreaking. and it's like he gets his sound back, but it's a very shitty sound. I mean, the title of the movie is perfect to describe what it's like, which I don't know how accurate the sound is for when he's hearing through those ocular implants, but it sounds just like there's this metallic, distorted, like really tinny, horrible, tiny speaker type of sound. Like if you were trying to play like heavy metal through like a shitty computer speaker from like the early 90s, like a shitty computer speaker from the 90s that can't handle like the type of sound you're trying to push through it. Um, and then the very end of the movie, where he takes the implants off, and it's just complete silence. Because with the implants, it was like nothing but noise. It was like this most like annoying, like irritating, metallic, just constant noise and distortion that he was existing in once he got these implants. And once he takes them off, he's like sitting on a bench and he takes them off, and it's just like this peace. It really feels like that's the moment where he understands what Joe was talking about when he told him to go into that room and just sit and write. It's about trying to be okay with where you're at in the moment. Stop trying to look towards the past. Don't focus on the future. Be present in the moment. Find peace in the moment, and find peace in the stillness of the silence. And there's that silence that this movie ends with that I think was like the most beautiful way to end the movie. Because it's like so much about sound, in this, and how different things sound, and how the lack of sound versus having sound versus this new like augmented sound, when you strip that all away, how just ultimately peaceful life can be. And I thought it was a very beautiful movie, very beautiful end, and I hope that a lot of awards go the way of this movie. Sound of Metal, check it out, Amazon Prime. Make sure you support our sponsor, Station House Coffee, on Instagram and stationhousecoffee.com. Order yourself some amazing coffee, single origin, premium, small batch coffee, brewed in Thetford Center, Vermont, and shipped directly to you. Go to stationhousecoffee.com and order your coffee today, and follow Station House Coffee on Instagram. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/Inspired Disorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com, and follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!